So a couple of nights ago, I was driving my truck and all of a sudden the power steering went out and I wasn't able to steer as easily, and I really had to crank it to get it to turn. And it was off and on. Mostly power steering was working, but when I tried to turn very sharp, it would go out and I'd have to really crank on it. So I'm going to try something that I've had from people who know that seems to work. You're going to need a turkey baster. Just bought one of these. It has a little brush inside. You can clean it out, but this is never going to go on a turkey to help cook a turkey. You're going to need a turkey baster, paper cup or two. You're going to need some more power steering fluid to replace what's in there, or some of it anyway, and some trans tune. This happens to be done by Seafoam. There's other brands out there. This will work with transmissions or for power steering. It says can be safely used in all types of petroleum-based hydraulic fluid, automatic transmission fluid, and power steering fluid systems, both conventional and synthetic fluids. When added to fluid, TransTune works quickly to clean and to overcome rough operation or shifting problems caused by harmful varnish residue and moisture contamination. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the turkey baster to put in and suck out as much as possible, and then I'm going to put in let's see, there's probably some directions here. It says add 4 to 6 ounces to steering fluid to condition the fluid. Clean sticky pressure valves, gears, and pumps. When flushing power steering systems or replacing a rack and pinion, follow the manufacturer's procedure. Always flush power steering fluid at recommended service intervals. Well, I'm not going to flush the power steering fluid. I'm just going to suck out as much as I can, put in 4 to 6 ounces of this, and then I'm going to run it for about a half an hour, and every few minutes I'm going to turn the steering wheel back and forwards, clockwise, counterclockwise, several times, and then after about a half an hour I'm going to suck out as much as I can and replace it with power steering fluid. So let's get started. Okay, I'm going to open up the baster. Sometimes harder than using it. There we go. And there we go. And I'm guessing this just unscrews or pops off. There we go. Don't need that. So I'm going to take that brush and put it aside and pop this back on. Here's a close-up of the cap. Going to unscrew, well actually it's only like a half or a quarter turn, and then just pop it out. I'm going to turkey baste it. Squeeze it, stick it down in, suck it out. Turkey baster was $3.12 with tax. Okay, we've got a bunch out. About maybe 3.5 ounces. Squeeze the bulb and let it out. I'm not sure how much these puppies hold. At least the steering wheel, power steering. Yeah, a little bit here, a little bit there. Yeah, maybe 4 ounces. boy, is that dirty. It's not the red that you put in there. Well, I guess it is, but it's been in there a long time. I don't know that I've ever even added any. Okay, I'm going to set this down, hopefully not spill it. Now, I'm going to open up this puppy. I always love these things. Okay, let's see if we can. No, that wasn't good. Well, this may not pull out like it's supposed to. Well, that was terrific. Well, lost the cap. Oh, the cap's right there. Okay, I'm gonna have to get some pliers and pull that out. Okay, so I'm gonna get some pliers. I'm gonna cover up this positive part. Don't wanna make a connection there with the battery, and see if I can pull this out. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's out. So I'm going to try to pour about 4 ounces in here. And that's probably not 4 ounces, but I'll pour some in and see where we're up to. It's very red when it's new. Oh, this is, I was thinking this is the power steering fluid, but it's not. Okay. Supposedly, this will evaporate, but I'm going to let it run for a while, and then I'm going to pull out about the same amount I put in, and put in fluid. Power steering fluid. Okay, before you start it, make sure you put this in. This little notch right here, and that notch right there, go in this notch and that notch. Let's see, that notch and that notch. Just find the notches, match them up, push it in, and turn it. Only goes about a quarter turn. And then you can start it up. Okay, let's put it in, start it up. I'm going to turn it back and forth. And with these trucks I'm doing it in, they always whine. Gonna leave it started. Run for a while. It's been a few minutes, so I'm going to turn it again. To the right, to the left, to the right, to the left. Get it squoze down in there quite a bit. Okay, and pause again. Okay. To the right, to the left. Right. Not sure what that noise was. Doesn't sound good. Well, I think that was the neighbor's car. Okay. Gonna do it again. Right. Left. Right. Left. Right, left, yeah, probably grinding a little bit of tire tread away. Okay, here we go. Right, left, right. Yeah, these Fords, you can hear the whine. They're famous for whining, whining, whining. So when you put fluid back in, well, when you suck out as much fluid as you put in, part of that will be steering fluid and part will be the cleaner. So part of that stays in will still be the cleaner. And so you're going to want, if that really truly evaporates, you'll need to check your power steering fluid in a day and then 2 days, and make sure you top it off. Make sure you don't get too low on fluid. So we're going to pause this again and we'll come back and do it in a little bit. Okay, here we go again. And after I've done this, I don't know, 8 or 10 times, you can do it 5 or 6, 120, 130, however many you want to do it. But I think 8 or 10 times is probably sufficient. Every 3 to 5 minutes, come back and try it again. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it sit for an hour. I think this will mix it up in the lines well enough so it'll eat any goobers or goop down in there. And then we can change out the rest. We need to leave it on. I don't know why, but that was the suggestion, to leave it running while you're doing this every few minutes. But then I'm going to turn it off and leave it for half an hour and just let it sit. Okay, I've done it a bunch of times now. Now I'm going to let it sit for about half an hour. Then I'm going to come and do it 3 or 4 times more. I'm going to let it sit with the engine off. And then I'm going to come back in, start it, and do the back and forth 3 or 4 times. And then I'm going to take the extra fluid out. Now be aware, if you're going to be turning your tire back and forth on the cement, you're going to get some embedded tire in your cement and wear out your tire a little bit. So you might want to do it while you're driving a little bit around the block. So we're going to try that now. Wouldn't drive a long way like this with the cleaning fluid in there, but around the block a couple of times should be okay. Okay. Do some turning left, do some turning right. A little bit of everything. Get it worked in really good. Give it a good cleaning. It's been sitting for almost an hour now. And this will work it back in a little bit. Do a tight turn here and there. Make sure it's pushed to every part of the system. This is a pretty easy fix to get it cleaned out. You won't be able to suck out all of it from the system, but you can get quite a bit. Stop on the way in and just, while I'm out here on the asphalt, just turn the wheel to the left, turn it to right, left, right, left, right. Okay. Yep, better view of grinding the tires on the cement. Better choice to do it on the asphalt. It's not as hard when you're moving. Okay, I'm going to let it sit for another 15 minutes. Okay, we let it sit for about an hour and a half total. Tap that off so it doesn't drip. Lay it on a paper towel and we'll suck some of this stuff up. Squeeze the bulb and suck it up. Yeah, it's pretty brown. Not a pretty brown, but it's pretty brown. Yeah, you can see some faint red in there, but not a great color if you want it red. Looks like we're getting more out than we put in, which is impossible, but it's pretty dark. I'm going down lower. I found another spot to go down. Looks like we're going to get about 8 ounces out of there, which is good. Okay. Yeah, you can see it's got a tint of red, but it's still pretty dark. Now I'm going to put some fresh, new power steering fluid back in. I was thinking it was red, but this is almost yellow. Still good. Okay. Put that in. Put the lid back on. And we're done. So, it's as tough as it is. You can drain the whole thing, bleed the whole thing, and then fill it with new. Or you could do this a few times, cycle through, and just gradually get some of the dirty stuff out if you don't want to go to the trouble of bleeding it. But with that cleaner in there, like I said, you'll need to check in a day or two. If you make sure you drive it a little bit and check to see if the level's gone down and top it up if it does. Anyway, hope that helps. Hope it helps solve your issues with your power steering. And give me a like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. And if you have any other suggestions for what other videos you'd like to see, leave them down below in the comments. Thanks. And for those of you who are wondering what those crazy socks were I was wearing, they're Fruit Loop socks my daughter gave me.